Hello, welcome to the BizDev Podcast. I'm your host, Edwin Fisher. On today's episode, we interview a great guest, Mike Diamond, also known as Chef Dizzy. Mike is an NFT expert. He's not only a consultant, but he also has developed his own NFT. Now, you might ask, what is an NFT? Short for non-fungible token. It's an acronym. But in this episode, Mike goes into tons of details, what NFTs are, how he got started, how he's made tons of money in them over the past year. So get ready, strap in, enjoy this episode on the BizDev Podcast. All right, welcome to the BizDev Podcast. My name is Edwin Fisher, your host, and I have an awesome guest here, Mike Diamond, a.k.a. Chef Dizzy.
Hey, what's going on, Edwin? Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming, brother.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. This episode's going to be a little bit unique to a newer space that I'm learning about is NFTs, and Mike is my expert that, I default any questions. I'm just somebody who knows not much about it. So this episode is going to be kind of taking a view into NFTs, and we're going to start really basic, and then we're going to dive into some details because you've even created your own NFTs, which is crazy. Like I have no clue. So let's start from the basic point. What is like an NFT basic level?
But before we go into that, I just want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. I have some expertise, but I'm certainly not an expert. You know what I mean? I don't have any degrees or official certifications in this area. I'm just somebody who's spent, essentially 12 hours a day involved in this industry every day since late February, right? And so this is kind of where my expertise comes from. But again, I wouldn't say anything that I say is financial advice. And also everybody should know that this is a really nascent industry. It's high risk, and people compare it to the .com bubble in that this is when a lot of companies were turning towards the web for the first time, and it was really exciting, and it was easy to overinflate value or overhype something, just like setting up a website, right? And so when the bubble burst, it's not that the websites went away or the internet died, right? Maybe 90% of those initial companies died, 10% survived, but the technology survived, right?
So there's a lot of hype, right, behind, just for get us in context, with this hype and NFT, what is it? How's it start? Where is it? Where are they even at?
The hype is all about money. The hype is all about money. I mean, people are making massive amounts of money.
And what is it? What's non-fungible token?
Sure. Okay. All right. Sorry. You're right. I skipped over that.
Yeah.
Okay. So NFTs, it does stand for non-fungible token. Fungible essentially means interchangeable, right? So dollar bills, US dollars are fungible because if I have a dollar and you have a dollar, it's essentially the same thing. We could swap dollars and it would make no difference to us because they're completely fungible, right? If I have a debt, I can use any dollars to pay that debt because all dollars are the same. A non-fungible token, by definition, then is something that's not interchangeable. Okay, so example of fungible tokens in cryptocurrency would be Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's all just decimals and numbers, of your ETH or of your Bitcoin. But again, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. So we're going away from the concept of currency and towards the idea of digital property. Okay. So NFTs are essentially digital property, as simply put as that.
So that's a better way to, if you hear that buzzword NFT, just think about something that's a digital property of any essence.
Yeah. I mean, think about it like this. Up until this point, right? If you had a file or you had some kind of image or you had some kind of data, somebody could copy it and distribute it, and there would be almost no way to tell which one was the original and which one was the copy. It's essentially exactly the same thing. What NFTs do is they assign a certificate or some on a ledger that identifies this one as being unique and an individual. And then oftentimes that references an image file. And so with art NFTs, sometimes the image file is hosted on AWS, which many people are can be wary of, because that means it can be changed, or you know what I mean. If
AWS, Amazon,
Amazon Web Services,
okay.
yeah. So you see these NFT projects, so the NFT part is a certificate that is on the ledger, the cryptocurrency ledger, Ethereum, in most cases, and it's telling the provenance, where it's going, tracking all that stuff, and it references an image file. Okay, so sometimes that's on AWS, but for the more projects with more integrity or a long-term view of things, it's on like IPFS, which is the Interplanetary File System, and this is like a more permanent way of hosting image files. And so you may have heard the term a rug pull.
No.
Okay, so a rug pull is something that happens when essentially a project is a sham. Okay. And this is happening this is when I say it's high risk. I mean, there are people who are attracted to this industry who are looking for a quick buck,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people who know that, and they can create what looks like a potentially interesting project. It's all about hype, some smoke
Mm-hmm.
and mirrors, right? And then they all disappear because it's all anonymous. Or it can be anonymous, especially earlier on. Now the space is wisening up, and it's much more difficult for a completely anonymous party to come in and kind of create a project and then get everybody's money and disappear. And I don't mean to highlight just the negative parts, but you have to understand this space operates so fast. And even in my case, Junkyard Dogs, I didn't know the people that I co-founded Junkyard Dogs with. I didn't know their real names or even what their faces looked like until the day we launched.
So what's Junkyard Dogs is?
Junkyard Dogs is an NFT project that I co-founded with some friends. Essentially, it is an NFT entrepreneurs club that if you own one of our NFTs, you have admission into the club. And it is also we have a special like loyalty rewards program where each person who has a Junkyard Dog gets a token called a scrap token every week, and you can redeem the scrap, or you can redeem those tokens for other NFTs. Okay, and this is one of the things that I'm responsible for on the Junkyard Dogs is this scrap system. I'm the director of scrap.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you get into like the NFT space? Like, is there something that my guess is like there's no school for it? Like,
No.
Of course not. Like, it's all on the internet. Like, how did you?
And this is where I've been able to get an edge, Edwin, because there's no school for it. It meant that a lack of a degree wasn't something that held me up or held me back, right? You can only get this education, this knowledge by being involved in the space and learning with your own money, spending thousands of dollars on high risk assets. You know what I mean? Playing with your balls on the table, so to speak. Like, it's the only way to learn and grow and experience this industry right now, which is why there are so few specialists. But how did I get involved with NFTs? Essentially, I've been a cryptocurrency enthusiast as early as 2017. I first heard about Ethereum when it was probably $45 or $50,
Wow.
And I didn't invest at that time, but mostly because I was broke, but I started learning about this, and it really intrigued me, the distributed ledger technology, the fact that, Ethereum is essentially this supercomputer that has, all of the processors from around the world are all contributing to it, and anybody can tap into this by using Ethereum. That's what Ethereum is. It's more akin to oil than it is actually gold, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that briefly?
Because if I have a smart contract on Ethereum, I've written a code, and when I execute that, I'm using the Ethereum supercomputer to do that, and that costs it costs something called gas.
Okay.
Right, and gas is Ethereum.
Is that an acronym at all? Gas? Or
No, I think that's just the common name. Sometimes the denomination of gas is broken down into gwei. So I think one like millionth of an Ethereum is like one gwei.
Okay.
Akin to I think 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin. I could be misquoting, but like a 0.000000001. The smallest denomination of a Bitcoin is considered one Satoshi.
Got it.
All right.
Okay.
So cryptocurrency. I wasn't early enough to invest big time, but what I did do is I started mining. I was able to, tap into some social cryptocurrency groups. I mined. I made a killing. I turned like $4,000 into about 40 grand.
Wow.
Yeah, in 2017 into the beginning of 2018.
And that was in mining.
That was with mining, some trading, some holding,
of crypto.
Yeah. But when it all crashed, I didn't sell anything. I hodled right until the very end, and I have zero regrets. But I had to eat dirt for a little while. The thing is, people don't like to believe in the cryptocurrency thing when it's low. And they doubt you, and then when it's up, everybody's envious, and then when it goes back down, they're really quick to rub it back in your face. And so, 2019, 2020, I had to eat some humble pie for sure. But then, here
did you still hold?
Huh?
Did you?
Oh yeah, diamond hands, dude. Diamond hands, yeah. I'm not saying holding all the time is the best strategy, but historically speaking, I mean, you could look at the stock market, right? They say if you buy stocks at any point in a 10-year period, you know what I mean? It's almost more than likely to go up by a significant rate. And, cryptocurrency markets are still very young, but if you look at the way Bitcoin and Ethereum go between all-time high and low and all-time high, the all-time highs are always consistently higher than before, And so, I held with faith, and in the beginning of February, things started to kind of pick back up. My interest picked back up, and the thing is, cryptocurrency, the way it's utilized in the decentralized way, and like with Web 3.0, it's vast, and the space is ripe for innovation. So something I like to say to people is, I think before the advent of these technologies, almost every idea that had ever been thought of has already been done. Okay, you have an idea, somebody else in this world has already thought of it. Okay, maybe they didn't think of the exact same version. You know what I mean? But there's no new ideas. Boom, enter Web 3.0. So there's two really amazing things that caused that impacted the 2017 bull run. Okay, or one major thing: ICOs, initial coin offerings, and these were essentially non-traditional fundraisers for a cryptocurrency project, that might be trying to disrupt banking. It might be trying to disrupt the music industry or the way we use our identities. The different usages of cryptocurrency are vast. And then kind of rekindling this bull run, you kind of have DeFi. Are you familiar with DeFi? DeFi is decentralized finance, and essentially people have created trustless platforms where I can provide liquidity as a lender and get 8, 10, 20, 30% APR on my funds, and people can get trustless collateralized loans with their own cryptocurrency. And so decentralized finance has been a huge disruptor that I'm actually not a big enough expert on this, but there are people who just do what's called yield farming, and they just are involved in as many 10, 20, 30% yield opportunities as they possibly can be. And yeah, it's been very disruptive and a huge source of renewed interest. And so this kind of sparked things. And so I sorry, this leads me. I apologize. I'm a little long-winded, but
no.
So when I'm seeing Ethereum start to rekindle, when I'm seeing the bull run start to come back, I am looking for the next opportunity. What is the next cutting edge usage of distributed ledger technology? Okay, enter NFTs. Now, everybody heard about Beeple's $69 million sale of his 10,000 days. Or maybe you haven't heard of it, but
I've heard of people. I've heard that crazy.
Yeah, everybody heard of that. Even people who have no idea. So this is the first time NFT, even the concept, entered the public's eye.
How long have they been around?
NFTs have been around since the dawn of cryptocurrency, really. There's a lot of debate on what was the very first NFTs. CryptoPunks, for example, very, very high-end couture NFT right now, worth at minimum in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think the floor on CryptoPunks is something like 56 Ethereum the last time I checked. And they are considered to be one of the earliest NFTs. Some claim they were the first. However, it's not really the case. People were even using the Bitcoin chain to create what's essentially, unique packets of information. This is also why if you look into NFTs, you'll see pixel art. Part of the pixel art is that it's retro. But the other reason why a lot of NFTs are pixel art is when we're talking about file storage. Pixel art is small enough that can actually be stored on chain. So it's almost, smaller files are even almost more immortal than larger files that have to reference some other database, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Right. So junkyard dogs, for example, perfect example.
Your NFT.
Our NFT.
Yep.
Okay. There's 8,008 junkyard dogs. Each one is different in some way, shape, or form. We have an amazing artist who created assets, eyes, chains, hats, mouths, different types of accessories. And this is kind of a common formula that a lot of NFT projects started. And
the different variations of each NFT.
Yeah, exactly. And each one is a membership to the club. And so, I'm sorry, dude, I lost track of where I was going with this. I think you were asking me about how I found NFTs. I'd like to just go back to that. Top Shots. Have you heard of Top Shots?
No.
Okay, so this is the chain of events,
okay.
right? Beeple, $69 million sale. Everybody's like, NFTs, what the fuck is that? And it doesn't make sense to anybody, right? Then I hear about Top Shots. Top Shots is essentially digital trading cards 3.0. All right.
Okay.
So where we used to trade baseball cards, you'd have the players, picture and their stats on them. What Top Shots did is they've taken highlight reels from basketball games.
Oh yeah, the Michael. I heard about the Michael Jordan.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Big money. And LeBron James, big money. And they've taken these highlight reels and turned them into collectible trading mementos, right? And this was big money. And so there was a time in February where if you were lucky enough to get, they're selling 10,000 packs, there's 100,000 people in line, right? So if you're lucky enough to get one of those 10,000 packs, it was almost a guaranteed 3 to 10x on your money.
Wow.
Okay. And if you got the good cards, it could be, you could spend $100 on a pack and pull out a $5,000 card. You know what I mean? And it was guaranteed in the beginning. And so, but I was too late. I missed out on Top Shots, drop after drop. And so I'm looking for the next thing. And then I hear about this thing called VV Digital Collectibles. And I knew that officially licensed NFTs would be really big. I found this app. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody knew what it was. And it's funny, I joined this other financial group on Facebook, and these guys are talking about stocks and, very interesting things for very grown-up people, sure. But I was getting lured back into NFTs, and I'm like, yo guys, you should check this out. Check out this VV stuff. And they weren't interested. And so I left the group. Because they weren't giving me the eyes and the attention that I needed to bounce the ideas that were going around in my mind, and nothing against them. Right. But, I had to find these new people. And so, yeah, I'm talking about VV Digital Collectibles. Essentially what they are 3D models that are in augmented reality. And for example, the very first Batman NFT ever created is on VV. It's the Todd McFarlane Batman. And I could show you, it wouldn't show up well on camera, but essentially I could pull out my phone, I could place it somewhere in this room, okay? I could enlarge it, and then I could walk all the way around it, look at it up and down, okay? It's really cool. It's a 3D statue. And you could own it if you want. There's a lot of speculation. A lot of people wonder what would the very first Batman NFT be worth, A lot of people wonder. So when I found VV, the store had items on the shelves, just like they talked about in the fabled days of Top Shot. Back in the very first days of Top Shot, there was packs on the shelves. You could just buy as many packs as you wanted.
Able to buy them.
Yeah, there was no line. There was no line,
Gotcha.
Right? I entered VV, and there's still items on the shelves. And it took me a week to make my first purchase because it was scary. I didn't it's like, am I really about to spend $90 on an intangible? You know what I mean? It's a kind of a ballsy thing, and I did it. And the more I'm reading about this company, the more I'm learning about NFTs, the more I'm kind of hyping myself up. I ended up spending more and more money, buying more and more stuff. And I was in for VV of about $10,000. Okay.
Wow.
And it was scary. It was scary. But right now I'm out about $30,000, and I still have about 250 collectibles. Okay, so almost every single thing that I bought off the shelves in VV 10x. Okay,
Whoa.
and
So you put 10 in, and
almost.
yeah.
I'm gonna say almost. My worth in VV is probably closer to 70. You know what I mean? Like overall, but I think that's because had I just bought everything off the shelf, the problem is I speculated on some ultra premium items that didn't appreciate at the same rate, right?
Mhm.
So if I could buy something off the shelf, even if it was a stupid little a little unicorn, okay, a little toy unicorn, this thing was $10, right? Well, now they're all selling for $80, $90, okay, versus something that I maybe bought for $500 that's now worth $1,000. I paid after my market prices speculating on some things, and they didn't appreciate it as well. That's okay. I did very well with VV. I'm actually still really bullish on VV. They had the first official licensed collectibles for Disney, Coca-Cola, Batman, Marvel. A ton of people in the actual NFT world are still sleeping on VV.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Because it had its interesting start. You see, this goes back into cryptocurrency culture, but a big part of it is about decentralization, right? And removing the middleman. And VV is actually much more of a centralized platform.
It's a company?
Yeah, it's a company. It's an app. You know what I mean? And for the longest time, for the first 8 months, you couldn't even take the collectibles off the app. And you actually still can't,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you still can't. And
you can't place it in other arenas.
Okay, you have to understand the concept of digital ownership. But the idea is I have it in a wallet that I can access on my phone, okay? But I could not transfer an asset that I've purchased through VV into my other cryptocurrency wallet that might have my fine arts collection, right? All my Dot Pigeon and Kid McGrath and stuff like that. I couldn't put it in that vault.
Do you think you will? Do you think they'll change that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're working on it, but they're in a different situation where they really pioneered a lot of these licensing agreements to bring these brands into NFTs, and so. I think that they had a hard time, writing licensing contracts for 2030 in 2017, if that makes sense, right? And so there's some limitations there, but I think that they'll be cleared up real soon.
Because they're centralized, they are ones that might have more rules to abide by with all the lawyers and licensing agreements.
Exactly.
Versus what other places can you buy NFTs?
Great question. Okay. Let me run through some of the platforms for you. OpenSea.com. I think, no, it might be .io. Okay. So one of them is OpenSea.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this is essentially a bazaar of NFTs. Your eBay of NFTs. Okay. Anybody can list their NFTs on OpenSea. Anybody can buy NFTs on OpenSea. It's essentially a technology that scans what's inside your wallet and displays it for people. So this is why anonymity is a big part, because nothing is hidden. I can see if you were to send me some Ethereum right now, I could look inside your wallet and see exactly how much ETH you have. I could see what NFTs you have. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Size me up.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Definitely.
Okay.
And so this is why I think a lot of people adopt pseudonyms, and you know what I mean? The decentralization and the anonymity is a big part of it. But OpenSea scans what's in wallets. It displays it. You can make offers on things even if you don't make them for sale. This all runs on the Ethereum network. If you're not familiar with NFTs, it takes money to make money. So we talked about gas, right? Well, sometimes, especially when volume is really high and activity is really high, gas can cost quite a bit. It can cost $50 just to make a purchase on OpenSea. Okay,
and that's using the mechanisms of Ethereum to buy it.
Exactly.
The technology.
Exactly. So when you look at somebody's wallet and you press buy, a third party thing called MetaMask will pop up, and you'll have to sign a transaction, and then it takes some time.
That's processing. What's on the blockchain.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's what's on the blockchain. It's really happening.
It's picking up. I'm following.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great, Edwin. So that's OpenSea. Then you have something like Nifty Gateway. Nifty Gateway is a curated platform, more centralized, like you can say, but you can still take the art off of Nifty Gateway. Nifty Gateway chose a lot of the big fine arts winners in the very beginning. I don't want to say chose, but with a curated platform, they decide who is doing an art drop. For example, let's say it's Ferocious. Okay, Ferocious is a major artist, 18 years old, already did a 6-figure sale at Sotheby's or Christie's. I always get it mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the kid's infectious. And Ferocious is he's the bomb. If Ferocious is doing a drop, and we're all trying to get the same piece on Nifty Gateway, they're kind of choosing who's dropping, if that makes sense.
Okay.
They're picking the people who can be seen, and that's the difference between a curated platform and an open platform like OpenSea. There's also another platform called Super Rare. This is where artists do their like one of ones.
Okay.
And it's kind of a more high end platform. There's something like called Foundation, Known Origin. There's a bunch of different places where you can buy NFTs now, and they all kind of serve their different niches. But I think that there's still room for more marketplaces because the clear winner hasn't arrived. I mean, Coinbase is a great example here. You know what Coinbase is? Yeah. So Coinbase is actually entering the NFT marketplace game here in January. They've already announced plans to open up a marketplace, actually probably a direct competitor for OpenSea, right? And so a lot of people are anticipating maybe another bull run for NFTs as 50 million casual cryptocurrency holders are suddenly introduced to the NFT market via the Coinbase platform. For some people, this is extremely bullish information, myself included. But
that Coinbase is going to be able to, you can buy NFTs off Coinbase. That's
yes.
like that, and that there's a lot of people that are super crypto people that will be able to be like, oh, I didn't know I can do that, and that's going to open up a whole new.
Let me put some perspective on it. Okay, in February there was probably less than 20,000 active users on OpenSea. Okay, last month there was probably 100,000 active users on OpenSea. Okay, on Coinbase there's 50 million cryptocurrency wallets.
Wow.
Okay, now there's something called the Coinbase Effect, right? Where if a non-mainstream coin gets listed on Coinbase,
it's
stonks, man.
It's like the blue check mark.
Yeah.
You're on there.
Exactly. And so, one could just imagine that by Coinbase integrating NFT marketplaces into their platform, this could be really bullish for NFTs as a whole. NFTs are still it's a niche. It's a subsection within a subsection. People are still trying to catch up to cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. Boomers are still just starting to catch on to Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Let alone, people don't even know about what Ethereum is. And then here we have this subset of the subset, which is NFTs. And, small cap growth sector. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So say I'm a guy and I have some money. Like I've seen the AMC, I saw the GameStop, and to me in 2020, I thought the world was going to come to the end with many people in the early 2020. We're heading towards the end of the year 2021. You got all these artists and these cool drops and all this stuff. How do I, luckily I know you, so you can give me some information. But if I'm just somebody, I don't have time to do 11 hours a day of information. How do I make the money? How do if I want to make money in NFTs in the niche,
it's gonna be hard, Edwin.
Yeah.
Right. It's gonna be hard. How do you gain expertise in something that you have no expertise in, right? Without putting in the time and the effort. Oh God, if I knew the answer to that, you know what I mean?
I got you.
I'd be a multimillionaire. Now there are some indicators. You can always bet on some of the strong winners or the strong showers. For example, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? Now you probably don't have $200K to drop on an NFT. However, if you did, I would recommend the Bored Ape Yacht Club because they have the strongest showing as a lifestyle brand, as a disruptor. I mean, we sometimes talk about blue chip NFTs.
I was literally gonna say it was like a blue chip stock.
Yeah,
but That's funny. I was going to say
the term is
I may have
thrown
heard it in my
around.
subconscious.
Yeah, it's thrown around all the time in NFTs. What it means is debatable. Everybody wants to call their NFTs blue chip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Subjective.
Really, the only blue chip PFP NFT is Bored Ape Yacht Club, probably with Cool Cats with a close second. And this is because both of these collections have massive brand power. They have massive celebrity buy-in. I mean, Bored Apes got Jimmy Fallon. They have Steph Curry. It seems like a new celebrity joins the Bored Apes every day. I have a mutant ape, okay, which wasn't cheap. That's like the second tier membership. That was my mutant ape was 4.5 Ethereum, which was close to $15,000 at the time. Now I think it's a 6 ETH floor. So if you want a mutant ape, it's a $24,000 minimum investment to get into the Bored Apes. And people say, why? Well, why is this worth any money? Well, dude, an annual membership at Mar-a-Lago is going to cost you $150,000.
Yeah.
Okay, an annual membership in New York City's top mental club. I forget the name. I looked it up just to compare because this is what I was thinking about at the time. That's like $50,000 annually with an upfront initiation fee. Okay. Bored Ape Yacht Club, what they're doing is they've created a social club of the who's who of the NFT world. They've been able to establish themselves as the top brand. And so you have more and more people joining into it. Now, I went to this yacht party in NYC in October. At the end of October, it was the Bored Ape Yacht Party, and this was like one of the first in-person networking events that's really happened during COVID, and also with NFTs. And I'm on this yacht, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of 30-year-olds that are all multimillionaires because they have. This guy's got 6 Bored Apes. This guy's got 7. Everybody that's on the yacht has a Bored Ape, or at least a mutant ape, right? And if they have a Bored Ape, well, that's a 6-figure NFT, and it's really cool. Now, Bored Apes, they did a crossover with Rolling Stone magazine. Okay, Arizona Green Tea Company, they bought a Bored Ape. Okay, Timbaland is putting together a Bored Ape Yacht Club music group by using Bored Apes. The thing is, people are using these profile pictures and adopting it as their persona. Okay, you don't have to be Edwin anymore. You could be a crypto punk. You could be a junkyard dog. You could be a Bored Ape. You can reinvent your name and reestablish who you are in the digital sphere. This is like I really believe that civilization is being rebuilt in the digital way. This is what Web 3.0 means. We're disrupting the way communities that have gotten value from their products and vice versa. We're taking a lot of the middlemen out of it. A lot of people don't understand. They still think that cryptocurrency and NFTs are a scam, and that's not to say in the very beginning, I was trying to be very cautious and cautionary, but the underlying technology is massively innovative. And if you can pick the right winners by understanding the technology and seeing people who are applying it in relevant ways. The problem is, Edwin, even you're talking about AMC and GameStop, and it's like, dude, this was gambling. There was no strategy or thought put into that. This was like mass hysteria, you know what I mean? And people rallying to disrupt and screw, the powers that be. And I get that. And a lot of people made money, but I'm sure a lot of people got wrecked too. And same thing with Dogecoin. Doge is a meme. Okay. People are getting rich off of that. The people who are trying to get involved in cryptocurrency because they heard about Doge, in my humble opinion, long-term, these guys are going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt, and then they're going to be like, cryptocurrency is a scam. I knew it from the beginning, and it's like, no, you're a dumbass. You invested in a joke coin when there was hundreds, if not thousands of other alternatives that you could have investigated. If you put a couple hours into it, you decided to invest into a joke. And so the joke's on you. This is what's going to happen to a lot of people. Same thing with NFTs. You have an amazing technology that is giving value. So let me tell you a little bit more about Junkyard Dog so you understand, okay?
Yeah.
when we're marketing Junkyard Dogs, okay, we have a project, we have a vision. It's the NFT Entrepreneurs Club. But also we're building out an IP. We're working on a comic. We have an animation. We have these metaverses that we're creating an actual, what we call the Junkyard verse, where we have the forge that is central to our mythology, and people will be able to inhabit Junkyard Dog avatars to be there. So when we sold out our project, 90% of the stuff wasn't built out. It was a dream, and a lot of it still isn't built out. We're still working on it every day. You know what I mean? We're a lot of part timers, and our main founder, he's full time, but it's kind of like kickstarting. It's kind of like kickstarting, where instead of people just receiving a product, it's a product with resellable value. Because of the way the market's set up, its liquidity. Dude, you could try to sell anything, in this office even, right? You're going to have a hard time. You're going to have to list it on Facebook. If somebody wants it, you're going to have to ship it. You're going to have to meet up with them, okay? The fungible part of non-fungible tokens is that if I list something on OpenSea and somebody buys it, boom, it's gone. The money's in my account. I don't have to send it to them. I don't have to ship it to them. It's frictionless commerce, right?
So how long do you think, because I feel like overall we're in a bubble of a lot of things.
Sure.
Stocks.
Sure.
Just everything's, back to AMC, Jimmy, and do you think the rug's gonna get pulled? What do you think? Because I know you're talking so much optimism. I'm just trying to think, man, I'm excited.
No, dude, if you want me to be sober and serious, you know what I mean? You want me to be, you want me to flip side? You know what I mean?
No, I just want to hear the opposite view, because what can happen? Because I know you mentioned the .com bubble back in the early 2000s.
People also like to mention tulips, and I just like to point out
1600s or something.
1600s, sure. Tulips were a massive bubble, and they popped. A lot of people got hurt. I also want to tell you that tulips are an $8 billion a year industry that sells out in 6 weeks with no problem every year.
There you go.
Okay. So maybe there was a bubble. Did that mean tulips as a product in and of themselves were bad and would not stand the test of time? History says history says otherwise.
That's a good analogy.
So yeah, man, I of course we're in a bubble. We're almost always in a bubble. What is bullishness? Bullishness is unreasonable enthusiasm, by definition, right?
Yeah.
So I think personally, I think we've seen the top. I think if you look at kind of the way the Bitcoin and Ethereum cycle went during the last bull run from 2017, we kind of saw this big, what I saw is kind of like a 4x. We saw, I think, let's see, the numbers are getting kind of hazy, but I was just looking at the charts with a friend a couple days ago, and essentially you see Ethereum go from 230 to the high 1200s. We're looking like a 4 to 6x, right? And then everything crashes. Okay, now we've seen from the previous all-time high of, in the low thousands, we've seen the high of 4,700. Again, this is like a 4x on the previous all-time high. There's no guarantees that it's going to keep going. A lot of times people say ETH is going to 10K, Bitcoin is going to 100K. It's the kind of thing where if enough people speak it into existence, it will come true because people believe that, right? Mm-hmm. But also, if everybody thinks that Bitcoin's going to 100K, the guy with 10,000 Bitcoins, he's selling at 90K. Yeah. He's not going to wait for everybody to hit their target so that all the retail investors can sell out. The whales control these markets. They always have. They always will. Whales will do whale things. So they're going to buy a shitload of cryptocurrency when everything's cheap, and they're going to sell it when it's close to the top and wreck everybody else. And, you can kind of predict on that. I think I strayed from your topic, though. I think long term, it's all about your time horizons.
Yeah.
Right? If you need your money in 6 weeks, cryptocurrency is not where you should be investing your money, okay? If you can wait 6 years, you might be startled with the returns that you could find. And I've learned about investing from cryptocurrency. People are telling me about dollar cost averaging all the time, Mm-hmm. You buy on the way down, you buy on the way up, you don't ever commit all your money. I think if somebody who's really wants to get their toes wet with crypto in a sensible way, take 10% of your disposable income and buy Ethereum and Bitcoin with it every month. And the thing is, I do believe long term that, these things are proven winners. even you want to talk about inflation, we're straying
Yeah.
big time, right? I know, I'm sorry, but just like against the dollar, like the amount of Ethereum and Bitcoin there are in the entire world, it's very finite.
Yeah.
Very finite. So if more people adopt these things and it gets more and more usage, it can only go one way, So that's on the crypto side.
So what I've heard, like I know you said like more things are getting in the headlines of like
Nike just bought RTFKT, a massive, I wouldn't say massive, but a very successful NFT creation studio. They made all kinds of 3D models. Adidas just did a partnership with CryptoPunks, okay, and Bored Ape Yacht Club, okay, exclusive merch drop. It was actually a huge thing that just happened today. Adidas just launched their very first NFT, right? Massive big brands are now getting involved.
So usually, like, I guess that's interesting because I was just thinking back to the stat that you said on OpenSea. There's what 100,000 people
active users.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like it's interesting that the corporations are jumping on this before. Like I don't know. Like I'm trying to think. Like I think niche, but then corporations are on it. It's
forward thinking. This is this. They see the power of the technology.
Gotcha.
Right? They want to be early. They want to utilize it and be forward thinking. Think of Nike, for example. Okay. If I buy an NFT from an artist for $1,000 and I sell it for $1 million later, programmed into the smart contract could be 10% secondary sales royalties, which means that no matter how much that piece gets sold for, the artist is going to receive a part of that royalties. Okay. You take that same situation, you apply it to shoes. Nike sells a pair of very coveted shoes for $500. Okay. Sells later for $30,000. Do they get a single penny of that? No. I know this has been just burning up some Nike execs for decades, right? They can't tap into the secondary sales.
Got it. Oh,
this is a huge missing key. And I'm sorry it's taken so long to talk about it, but the fact that secondary royalties can be programmed into these products is massively disrupting. Okay, that's why all the big brands want a piece of it, because all of the markups they've seen on their high demand collectibles, you see that in digital goods, but they can get a piece of the pie now as well.
That's just a lot of things. I didn't even think, and I guess like you went kind of the analogy or like everything's been invented, but now with the 3.0, there's so much like even a bigger
relationship. It's about relationships,
but no, we're seeing what's possible.
Yeah,
like that's where I'm just like I didn't like we said about Nike, like they don't have access to the secondary market of these shoes that are going for way more than what they originally listed for. Whoa.
And I think and dude, anyway, we can. It's like multidimensional, and
I can't wait to watch this 10 years from now.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing you should understand about NFTs, provenance. Okay. Blockchain is an immutable, not blockchain. Blockchain technology creates a ledger, which in many cases can be immutable with Bitcoin and Ethereum, or almost hack proof. Okay. When you have fine art or high quality luxury goods on the blockchain, you have something that has provable provenance all the time. For example, I didn't really understand why people are spending, or who would ever feel comfortable spending $2 million on an NFT. I was able to interview this guy. His name's Nobody. Okay. His name's Nobody. Spent $2 million on the most expensive Cool Cats NFT sale to date. Okay.
Wow.
And it's a cat picture. It's a zombie cat picture. And I had the privilege of interviewing, and I said, how can you justify, and he comes from, obviously he comes from wealth and a financial background of investing. And I say, how can you justify a purchase like this? And he explains to me that in the world of large, non-traditional assets, right, you might have something that's one of a kind, and nobody can tell if it's real or not, except for the experts.
Yeah.
Great case in point, this Leonardo da Vinci piece that sold for $500 million 9 months ago, only 6 weeks ago to find out that the university said that maybe not made by Da Vinci, maybe made by his studio, his students in association with him, but probably not actually made by Leonardo da Vinci, right? well, whoever spent $500 million on that piece, they probably would have liked to know that beforehand, right?
Yeah.
Well, we have to trust the experts, and when you have something that's one of a kind, you can't compare it to anything else. Bring it back to shoes. Somebody told me there's like, I don't know anything about shoes, but I do understand scarcity and supply and demand. And so there are shoes that are grails, like a brand new pair of Jordans from the 80s. Okay. People don't even think they exist anymore. If one were to turn up, it would be so almost impossible to prove its authenticity.
Yeah, I got you.
Right. And so even if you spent 30 grand on these pair of J's, there's always that question, like, are these actual real? Blockchain takes all of that out of the equation. Okay. You can have that with digital goods, but we could take that one step further. And, I think everything's going to have RFID chips in it in the future. You know what I mean? With a unique cryptological code that, that'll link up to a ledger, and all of a sudden you can't fake Louis anymore. You can't fake Chanel. You know what I mean?
Scan it with your phone.
Yeah, for sure. This is something that's provenance. Provenance is always there.
You're blowing my mind, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know. I'm kind of a wild guy. And to be in this space, I got my head's in the clouds, and so there's a lot to say about the topic. But it is really exciting for me. All the different possibilities and the ways this tech can go, and I want to talk a bit now about giving value back to your community.
Sure.
Okay. So Web 2.0, or we'll even say the traditional relationship, is you have the brand, which creates the products, and you have the consumers, okay, the fans, right? They buy the product and they enjoy being using the product, and that's it. They don't actually get any benefit from having the product. You don't actually get any benefit from having Coco Chanel besides, hey, I get to have it, I get to show it off. What a lot of NFTs have done is, by giving you real digital ownership, in many cases, of the IP, something else like with Bored Apes, right? If you own a Bored Ape, you own the IP for that ape. You own the IP for that likeness. This is why people are able to create brands around it. You can put it on a shirt. You can put it on whatever you want, right? And you own the commercial rights for that. And so by doing that, all the apes contribute to the value of that brand together. Okay. And so Junkyard Dogs, for example, all the Junkyard Dogs contribute to the value of the Junkyard Dogs together. So when Junkyard Dogs is really successful, all the Junkyard Dogs are worth more. And so they can, if somebody wants to sell their membership, they can sell it. If you own a membership to a golf course, right? If the golf course has the biggest golf tournament there next year, I'm showing my ignorance because I don't know the name of that, right? But if they have the biggest golf tournament in the world at that course next year, do you benefit at all from that?
No, I mean,
probably not. Not in your membership, not in a tangible way. Yeah. Maybe you get invited or something like that. I don't know, but your membership isn't worth more. Okay. But if you have an NFT that belongs to a golf course, let's say, dude, we could start this project right now. Okay. NFT funded golf course. People have talked about it. People are trying to buy sports teams with NFTs and decentralized autonomous organizations called DAOs. You could give something like voting power with an NFT. All right, here, I'm going to pitch the project right now to everybody that's listening. All right. We're going to do an 8,000 collectibles drop. Okay. The cost is going to be 0.1 Ethereum, right? So we're going to raise 800 Ethereum, and these are going to be lifetime golf memberships to a golf course that we want to build. Okay. And if we sell out, well, I don't know if you can build a golf course with $3 million, probably not, but you could build something. You could do something with that. Right. And then depending on what kind of utility or perks you associate with your NFT, it can gain in value. So let's take the golf course, let's price it out. So maybe you need to pay half of an ETH, right, to make the golf course thing work. Well, this token can represent lifetime membership to this golf course. You could say people with this token are entitled to, three full rounds per year. You know what I mean? And maybe a certain amount of amenities and stuff like that. And it could operate like a public golf course, right? But your founding members have a lifetime membership. When you create a project, you decide what kind of value you want to give to people. And the thing is, because it's transferable, because it's something that's essentially immortal, as long as the blockchain survives, so too will this digital good, right? It's something that can grow in value. And yeah, there's a lot of irrational speculation around the value of a lot of these brands and a lot of these things, but people are speculating on the power, the future impact and stuff like that. Similar to ICOs, similar to Kickstarter, similar to, like SEC Don't Kill Me, you know what I mean? But there is similarities to, starting fundraising for companies. I mean, this is essentially what it is, but it's in a disruptive format. Does that make sense? I said too much, I think.
No, it's hey, dude, it's really a lot to take in.
Yeah.
We did dive deep into the details and also the macros, and it was really interesting. But I still have to I probably have to listen to this two or three times to grasp all the excitement that's about to come to NFTs. It's amazing how you just took an idea. I'm really interested and I see that your passion and you really dive deep. Now you're making a living from this, which is even way cooler. Something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
So that's to me, you're living the dream.
I am living the dream. I tell people I feel like Neo. Okay. I feel like Neo. I feel like I woke up. This whole world is the Matrix. In the sense that with NFTs and Web 3.0, anything is possible. Okay.
Now you're scaring.
No, dude. I really believe that anything is possible. You can recreate yourself. You can fund your dream. You can connect with people directly in a way that has been life-changing for so many people. I want to talk about the artists. I know we're running out of time here, and now I'm really starting to realize the things that I really wanted to say. But I want to talk about NFTs and art. We talked about PFPs. We talked a lot about DeFi and cryptocurrency. But I want to talk about what NFTs have done for the artist. All right. Now an artist can sell their work digitally. It doesn't matter if they're in Nigeria, Senegal, Indonesia, China, Japan, right? They can put their art on the global market and find collectors. And
it changes a lot of stuff.
It changes, essentially enter e-commerce and global commerce in a way that wasn't possible before. There's no shipping involved. There's no barriers, and on top of that, depending on where you are, 0.1 Ethereum can be life changing if you're in a third world country, tapping into that market. It's been a huge equalizer for a lot of artists. I've met a lot of artists whose lives have been completely changed by NFTs, being able to go full time with their art. To quote one artist who I interviewed recently. His name is Fabio Pavelli. He said, to me, NFTs are freedom, because he's been able to own his own work. Now, on top of this, let's go back to the secondary royalties. Picasso died a pauper. I don't think Van Gogh sold maybe one or two artworks his whole life, right? And even after they passed on, I don't know if their estates even get to benefit from those things. But now an artist, even a middling artist, who maybe just has a couple hundred collectors, they sell their art over the course of 30 years, they can retire off of their secondary sales if they've had a moderate career, passive income. They'll get those secondary transaction sales for life. It gives all the power to the artist in a way that is completely changing. And, I keep talking to these people from the traditional art world as well. And, it's been gatekept by gallerists and curators for the longest time, and you had to go to art school and you had to have somebody pitch your art. Now, the entire relationship has changed. Now, if you have a Twitter account, you have some good art and you're willing to get out there, put yourself out there and meet people and connect with people, you'll find your collectors. They will buy your art. You'll start your following. Next thing you know, 9 months from now, you got 20,000 followers. You made six figures and you don't even know how it all happened. I've seen this story happen over and over again. It's incredibly exciting. And that's why I get so passionate about it, because the way it's been able to affect people's lives has been dynamic. And I'm not an artist. I'm not a tech guy. what I am is I'm a community guy. I'm somebody who can understand these ideas and the vision, and I help other people understand it as well. This is what I do with a lot of my consulting. You talk about me going full time. Well, my LinkedIn is nonstop. Bah, 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 bah. Can you help us? We want to do an NFT project. We don't understand. Big business brands, and other people, they see the money and they see the possibilities here, but they don't understand how their product or their service or their thing translates into Web 3.0. And so I can help them refine that vision and understand like what direction to go in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if someone wants to find, like, I know you go by Chef Dizzy. Like, what's your Twitter handle? Or
Chef Dizzy D is my Twitter handle. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm Michael Diamond. Simple enough. You should find me, shoot me a message.
You said you do consulting for people, like if they have questions or okay.
Yeah, absolutely, cool. Absolutely.
Companies and individuals.
100%, 100%. I'm very passionate about it. Time is money. You know what I mean? And so obviously I charge right for these services, but it's been life-changing for me, right? I want to help other people do it. I'm now in a position to help other people do it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
I just want to say though that this space is highly cultural sensitive. We've created a culture, and it's very sensitive to outsiders coming in and trying to profiteer. Okay. So to anybody who's watching this, business or brand, don't think that you can just fake your way into NFTs and bring a product that will sell out because
it's an NFT.
Just because it's an NFT, because people are actually really wary of that now. We want to see that you are about the culture and you are for us, for the NFT degens, essentially, mm-hmm. Right? And not just here to profit off of it. And actually, a lot of celebrities have come in and tried to launch an NFT project. They'll come in, they'll be like, hey, we just heard about NFTs, and they'll, fake. I don't know if it's fake, but yeah, probably it's not the celebrity. It's somebody else doing some correspondence for a couple weeks, and then boom, all of a sudden they're launching their NFT project, and these things flop time after time. And I've seen this happen, and it's because people are trying to profit off the culture without understanding the culture, without being able to provide something of real value and innovation. And so, there's a lot to learn. It's a deep ocean. But if you're the kind of person who is interested in new technology, new possibilities, community, value building and distribution, NFTs is definitely the area that you want to investigate, and really spend some time trying to understand what's going on and how you can apply it, because I think it's going to be one of the most high growth sectors, in the coming years, just because of what it can represent for ownership and the distribution of value. You know what I mean? It's life changing for a lot of people.
Well, Mike, Chef, dude, you kind of gave me a full education. I'm excited to kind of learn more about it. I know I've already bought one.
Yeah,
I'm real excited to maybe buy another and kind of learn. But I'm hopefully with the listeners, you really gleaned a lot of information, and looking forward to keep talking about NFTs.
Yeah, dude, I'd be happy to talk to you about it again. I'm sorry, I think I should have. Maybe I should have came with an A, B, and C format.
Don't be sorry. I wanted this an open dialogue, just so like, what is it? Because I'm sure a lot of our listeners don't know exactly. Yeah. So I think it's really cool. We just opened Pandora's box and kind of just dove in. But
yeah,
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to come back and talk to you again. And if anybody wants to reach out, I'm here. This is what I'm doing, full time. So thanks for having me, man.
Awesome, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was great interviewing Mike Diamond. Here are some conclusions that I got from this episode. I found it really interesting how Mike had such a vast knowledge of NFTs. When I was interviewing him, my approach was I really didn't know much about NFTs. I think I've only bought one since the recording of the episode. But some of the things that he mentioned was about how corporations are jumping into NFTs. I didn't know. You mentioned about Nike and some of, the demand on their drops of exclusive shoes connected with NFTs. That was really interesting for me, to where, companies are now jumping into, the NFT space. Also, one thing that I learned was about the Coinbase and how, some of the platforms don't have large, like in the millions amounts of users compared to Coinbase, and how they will be launching NFTs in the short term, in the next few weeks, probably early 2022. So those were some cool things that I picked up from the episode. Mike really knew his stuff on NFTs. He's, crazy involved into it, and it can be so depth and, for understanding. Let me know if you guys want him to come back on. I'll be super excited to interview him. I learned so much. But yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts of this episode. Thanks so much, guys. Stay safe.